Situated at the apex of Wilshire Boulevard and Santa Monica Boulevard, the Beverly Hilton may be the exact center of the world, or so it seems. The realms of politics, entertainment, and community have intersected seamlessly here for the last 60 years. An expansion of the already international empire of Conrad Hilton, the Beverly Hilton was designed as a showcase destination of the chain. The public face of the hotel was unparalleled. Be it presidential press conferences, the annual Golden Globes, movie locations, or as an accommodation to the stars, this particular Hilton is synonymous with glamour. The Hilton empire began with the purchase of the Mobley Hotel in Cisco, Texas in 1919. By 1933, Conrad Hilton owned 8 properties in Texas and was looking to expand. The area we now know as Beverly Hills got its illustrious start as the Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas, sometime before 1848, a home to sheep ranches and lima bean fields. It didn't become what we now know as Beverly Hills until 1906. Older residents of Beverly Hills remember the Beverly Hills Nursery on the site of the present-day Beverly Hilton.
But way before the nursery, it was the Rodeo de las Aguas Rancho, the gathering of the waters. These waters would gather right approximately where Franklin Canyon is in Coldwater Canyon, which is now Coldwater Park. And that is really the site of this gathering of the waters, which was the Maria Rita Valdez named her rancho after.
The design of the city was deliberate, starting with smaller lots in the southern portion and increasing in size as the subdivisions moved into the foothills. In 1912, the Beverly Hills Hotel was built to attract buyers to the area.
So this hotel was built in 1912. It became the center of life in Beverly Hills. There was not much life then. There weren't too many houses sold yet, but the idea was to bring people from around the world there and give them a resort hotel where they could stay, and then they could look around and see if they'd like to live in Beverly Hills. That was the idea.
The city was incorporated in 1914, experiencing a building boom in the 1920s. The fact that Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford, the most popular movie stars of the day, chose Beverly Hills as their home base didn't hurt either. Beverly Hills continued to flourish as the downtown area became a fashionable shopping and business district. By the 50s, the need for a new style of hotel was evident. Hilton hired Welton Beckett and Associates to design this instant landmark, knowing that whatever occupied this space would become intrinsically associated with Beverly Hills.
It's taken us several decades to look at the importance of Welton Beckett in Southern California architecture and actually in the world of architecture in the post-war period. He pioneered a new brand of architectural office and spoke to this boom in the 50s and 60s of America making that transition from World War II, post-war, into one of the greatest economies in the world. And he pioneered a concept called total design, which is used in this hotel. The first big project in Los Angeles was done under the name of Werdeman and Beckett. That was the Pan Pacific. By the 50s, they split their partnership, and it became known as Welton Beckett and Associates. It was a tiered firm with this total design concept, so he could offer Conrad Hilton a one-stop shop. One was the idea that he took a triangular piece of land which was speaking to the car culture, because it was between 2 major boulevards, Wilshire and Santa Monica, and so a more prominent site you couldn't get in Beverly Hills. Beckett positioned the various buildings around the site with the Y-shaped main tower in the middle, but then Trader Vic's at the apex of Santa Monica and Wilshire, and service buildings along the sides. The interior courtyard was another relationship to the car culture where you had this sense of arrival that you have in grand hotels.
The innovative use of balconies, both as a functional luxury and a repeating pattern motif, contribute to the Hilton's identifiable facade. Originally painted in multicolored hues, the balconies created modern art while maintaining privacy and soundproofing. The 8-story Wilshire Tower building is the most significant and easily identified part of the hotel. The Y-shaped tower contains the open lobby space and the sheltered driveway, which is often the start of the celebrity red carpet area.
So in the rooms, for example, each room would have a private balcony would look over the whole city, and no matter what side you were on, it was a kind of like a Y-shaped building. So someone who was staying in one part of the building or another part would still get the sunlight, would still get the view. It would be this kind of unusual kind of style and design radiating from a hub. And the hub in the middle would be the service hub, as they called it. And the service hub would be the ballrooms, all of the catering, the restaurants down below, the lobby area, which people would gather for all these events, etc., etc.
As you come into that lobby space and you're in the Y, one of the things they did was to use the architecture to place you in the center of your environment. So everything went through the lobby in some way or another. The lobby was, again, a part of the total design.
So the idea for the hotel's logo would be a starburst, executed into a artistic sculpture chandelier, which would be hanging in the lobby. That chandelier was used, the same starburst was used in their advertising. So when you see advertising for the hotel in the 50s and 60s, you have your starburst. And upstairs, they had several, of course, restaurants that they were going to do in the hotel. The L'Escoffier room was their French, I guess, trademark hotel restaurant. It was spectacular, and still is, of course, spectacular, having that penthouse restaurant up there. Other restaurants, they had different themes. That was the idea in the 60s. One of the restaurants was a restaurant called The Traders. It was a Polynesian-style restaurant, and of course the big tiki god sculpture out front, which was a trademark of the restaurant, led you into this incredible Polynesian feel. Now, Beverly Hills already had the Luau, which was Polynesian as well, and Shuggies the Tropics, which was another important Beverly Hills restaurant. So in other words, the Beverly Hilton was leading into a new era of restaurants of the Polynesian style of cuisine, and Traders was later become known as Trader Vic's.
Some of the themed rooms in the hotel included the Nordic Room, with its whalebone sculpture, the Saray Room, a Turkish palace, the Versailles Room, with fountains capable of dispensing champagne, and the pub-like Red Lion Inn.
There was a lanai area around the pool. Those rooms are named lanais because they are glass-fronted and very low to the ground. And they are supposed to also reflect the indoor-outdoor recreational culture of Los Angeles. The pool played an absolutely huge part in both marketing the hotel. I mean, many hotels had pools, but this one was a showcase because of who might be sitting around that pool or swimming in it. Esther Williams and others. These configurations changed in terms of need. The lanai rooms were changed. The pool area was actually changed a couple of times. There will be other configurations in the future, but the idea of the central Y and the supporting buildings being put on the exterior is a function of Beckett's architecture that is going to stand the test of time and has stood the test of time.
The Beverly Hilton was not the first project Conrad Hilton hired Welton Becket and Associates to design. The fruitful partnership yielded 11 hotels for the Hilton Corporation between 1949 and 1975.
On August 11th, Vice President Richard Nixon was here on vacation, and he was invited by Conrad Hilton to help with the flag-raising ceremony on Wilshire Boulevard. The flag-raising ceremony basically was to inaugurate the opening of the hotel.
The hotel was uniquely designed to serve both the entertainment community and the civic side. Conrad Hilton knowingly created large spaces suited to political conventions and award shows. Originally called the Bally Room, the large ballroom functioned as a nightclub, and starting in 1961 as the home to the annual Golden Globe Awards.
One of the most important of the events that are being held in the International Ballroom since 1961 was the Golden Globes, which is really the Foreign Press Association Awards. And the Golden Globes is very important because it brings the international kind of focus in on Los Angeles and Beverly Hills.
The importance of the Beverly Hilton and its place in Beverly Hills history cannot be underestimated. It was and still stands at the crossroads of the community, merging the diverse worlds of hospitality, commerce, philanthropy, entertainment, and politics.